Welcome everyone to Story Lords, the prompt-based fiction podcast with 2 prompts, 3 stories and infinite laughter. I am one of your hosts, Rich Masters, and with me as always is Jeff Pennington.
Hello.
And Josh.
Can you introduce him normally, what his name is, please?
Oh, sorry, Normie at Jeff.
People love it when you do a joke that isn't from the show, that just existed outside of recording.
It adds a false sense of depth.
It adds mystery. That's what you want.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Shoot
it's
an email to
provocative.
my web zone at normie@jeff.
At hotmail.com.
And Josh Henderson.
Yeah.
Hey, this
It's a
week.
good intro, just in general.
Oh, thanks.
One of our best.
Oh, well, I decided not to start off with a glib remark about the state of the world today because...
Oh, that'll happen anyway in our stories, I'm sure.
Exactly. This week...
Evergreen jokes today.
Our prompts were assassinations and people who miss things. No, they were Dracula and clowns.
I thought
Did
maybe
Dracula
clowns...
have the gun?
Oh, I wish.
Because he definitely shot a clown.
Are we playing... Oh, my God.
That's some biting political humor.
That was straight out of, like a late night show.
Guys, I have a new role at the Late Show with whoever the fuck is doing it besides Jon Stewart now.
James Corden. He's back.
Is he?
The Late
No, he was
Night
on-
Show with Craig Kilborn hired me, so...
I wish. He was on, Corden was on the Conan podcast. I thought of you, because I was like, I know you.
I
you
fucking
hate him.
despise that guy.
People are like, fuck you, Conan.
Look,
And it's
look,
like,
not
all right.
not to overstep my boundaries here, but I also hate James Corden.
Yay!
No, I also hate James Corden.
It is agreed.
I do love
Let's-
Conan, though.
Is it too late to rebrand to the We Hate James Corden podcast?
We've already
Can we
changed
change our
name once.
again?
This podcast has been pretty willy-nilly with its name, so I think it's fine.
Can we just call it the Willy Nilly cast? We just talk about Willie Nelson.
Definitely get some extra hits.
Oh, yeah.
The Willy-Nilly podcast, all about Willie Nelson and Nilla wafers.
Oh, my God. I love
And Willies.
fucking
And Big Willie style.
Oh my God. Yo, have you guys go get some fucking rice pudding and get Nilla wafers and dunk that shit in the rice pudding.
The
and
banana
eat that.
pudding with Nilla wafers is like the classic. It's classic
That's
for a
delicious.
reason. What?
Look, I don't want to divide our country even farther with this banana pudding versus rice pudding.
Rice pudding sucks
Rhetoric.
dick is the difference.
Oh my God. I'm going to go get a gun. I'm going to go buy a gun.
Look,
Time
aim
to
for
shoot
the
another
ear.
clown.
Aim for the ear is all I'm saying. That's the
Aim
most
for where...
the most unprotected and dangerous zone of the human body, the ear.
Aim for where the ear is going to be. Wayne Gretzky.
Aim for that ketchup packet.
Jesus Christ. Right? Oh my God.
So,
I'll
yeah.
take things that really happened for $300.
So this week our prompts were Dracula and clowns.
I thought maybe clowns was made up and I just wrote that, but I just went with it, so I was right.
No, I enjoyed these prompts this week for a change.
Wow, God damn.
Normally I do kind of shoehorn them in, but this is sort of integral to the plot. So.
I will do a little asterisk in that I did not shoehorn these in, but it's probably going to seem like I did.
Okay. Rio's got another transformation up his sleeve. He's a clown.
Clown. He's an it.
Dracula from the Frankenstein mystery shows up for one scene, and he's just like, "What's up? It's me."
Was a blow. Hello, audience. He's the new Reese's.
I'm going to prefix this with I'm glad that it's Dracula this week because I'm expecting Josh to bring back Boris Bloodsuck, but I also know that he probably won't. So
You're gonna be expecting a lot of things in your life, and you're gonna have to get used to not getting any of them.
okay, so I'm up first this week. So let's take a trip to Omniverse, and my story this week is called Dracula's Birthday Basharooney Graveyard Smash Edition.
Dude, I love that. I have that DVD on my shelf. It's got all the deleted scenes.
I'd almost put Electric Boogaloo, but then I realised I've already done that.
Done that before.
I think I've done it more than once as well.
Yeah. I think that DVD was hosted by Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Is he dead? He's got to be dead, right?
The current status of the Omniverse: child kidnap and infanticide, crew getting back together but divided and fractured after years apart. Kellen and her friends are revealed to be being manipulated and betrayed by an evil future self. The instigators of the rifting abilities, the evil scientists whose names I can't be bothered to check. Slain.
They don't matter anymore. It's
They
fine.
don't matter, they're dead. Florgo.
If you forget the name, kill him off.
That's the benefit of killing off characters. You don't need to think about them anymore. Florgo, driven mad by a fracturing of his soul. Malcolm, the eldritch abomination dog, revealed as puppet master behind the scenes. How will the tension be topped this episode? How will things be ramped up? Count Dracula.
Oh my god!
I found another level, guys.
He's just digging deeper.
Not a Dracula, but the Dracula. Yeah, talk about your last quarter Hail Marys. Where am I going with this bullshit? Scowled as he picked up the mess all over his bedroom floor. His discarded capes, his feathered shirts, the naked ugly virgin he had drained last night. He
I
sighed.
thought this was Dracula, not Lando Calrissian.
He sighed at the pile of detritus in front of him, scrunched everything into a ball, and pushed it down into his laundry hamper for Renfield to deal with.
What are we doing here, Rich?
The woman's arm poked out as he tried to put the lid on. He pushed again, and again, and again, but the arm refused to comply. "This is more resistance than you showed last night," he muttered. "Damn! Jeez. The moment you figured out who I was, you were all, 'Thank me, Count,' and 'make me immortal,' and complaining that I wasn't showing up in your stupid selfies for your feed."
All right, there's a little bit of synergy happening here, a little bit of hive mind.
Is that a thing?
Well, you can't catch him in a photo. He hasn't got a reflection.
I thought it was just mirrors.
No, it's photos as well.
Yeah.
They don't show up in photos.
Oh, God, I can't keep up.
Josh quickly changing his story so that his vampire isn't in a photo. I'm sorry, my lord. It's the last time I'll put the ad out on TikTok, came a voice from the door. Vlad jumped near out of his greying ancient skin. "Renfield, for devil's sake, you nearly took me out of an early grave."
Oh,
nice.
my God.
The woman stepped into the room, making alterations to a hologrammatic schedule displayed from her watch. She wore a 1980s business suit with shoulder pads and her hair up, with thin, hawkish glasses. The only virgin I could find on such short notice was her, or that Magic the Gathering group with the poor personal hygiene.
Fuck you, nerds.
Yes, I know this is a terrible stereotype, but what do you want from the guy who brought you Robo-Hitler?
From the guy who produced Robo-Hitler.
Twice, I may add. He held his hands up at the laundry hamper. Just burn this, and buy another hamper. I can't even with this today. Do you remember the good old days,
Is
Renfield?
Dracula a millennial?
He is
Yeah.
now.
He's a millennial years old.
Excellent.
All right, can we restart the podcast?
Do you remember the good old days, Renfield, when virgins were beautiful, and not just crazy cat lady loners with flags redder than my battle armor? You know what I mean, don't you? You remember the battle armor, right, Renfield? As I've told you for the last 200 years, my name is Samantha. I replaced the last Renfield, Renfield 169, after he died in his sleep, surrounded by all these beloved spiders. Also, yes, I remember the battlesuit. I've seen Mr. Coppola's biography a number of times. You always make me watch it every year around your birthday when you get weepy and nostalgic. Dracula pouted and sat down in front of his dressing room mirror before remembering he couldn't see himself. Don't mention that hack to me, Renfield. I wear
Does he have it?
I wear my hair up in beehive one time because a villager said it was on trend and it just happens to be in the contract meeting, and then the man makes me look like I have engorged anus on my head for half the movie.
It's a mistake we've all made.
Wolfman phoned me week after the release and howled with laughter. I mean, I assume that is what he was doing. That idiot is always howling at something. Sometimes ice cream trucks.
Wait a second. I don't mean to interrupt your story, but Adam Frankenstein is canon to your timeline, rifting timelines. Is this the same Dracula from my story?
I don't know. Let's not think about it too hard, all right?
Let's go with maybe.
Well, someone got up on the wrong side of the coffin today, Samantha declared. There is no side to get out of, he muttered. You simply hover forward, like reverse smooth criminal move. He growled. Pale skin, hovering, propensity for virgins. I'm telling you, king of pop. King of nearly blowing our fucking cover and giving us an even worse name.
Yep.
Well, he's gone now, sir, Samantha sighed loudly. Happy birthday, sire. You don't look a day over 2021. Ah, he waved a hand at her, smiling. You are too sweet, Renfield. If only the other ruling demon lords thought so. I think they're going to use my age to try and force me out again. We just won't allow that then, will we? Now, although it's very late to be making adjustments to the plan, and I will undoubtedly regret asking this question, is there anything else needed to be arranged for the party? Did you meet with the entertainment? She said as she checked her schedule, not even looking at him. Clowns admittedly were an odd choice, but did they meet with your approval? Mm-hmm. Dracula looked down to the floor by his dressing table, noticing an arm poking out from behind it, sleeved in rainbow colours with a ruffled sleeve. He kicked at it a few times, accidentally catching a red nose with his foot and making a loud honking noise.
Oh my god, this is so many things are similar. It's so stupid.
Oh no.
What was that, sir? Samantha looked up. Nothing. He put a hand to his mouth, mock coughing. Slight skank in my throat.
Oh my god.
Samantha looked around on the floor before pulling a blue handkerchief for him, connected to a red and an orange and a yellow. Oh she stared at Vlad, who just shrugged and grimaced. I'll put another advert out, sir, Samantha sighed. This is perfect, Asher said as she looked at the poster stuck to the notice board by the central fountain in the square. The small hamlet in the middle of the forest was lit by torches. It was as if the villagers had returned to traditional ways, but Ash knew they had never left. She tore the poster down and smiled. This is exactly what we are looking for. Hallgrim sidled up to her, one eye on the villagers who bolted their doors and shut their curtains. One villager glared at him from his porch. Bloody visitors! Now the Homeowners Association will fine me if I don't get up out of my chair and go slam my door, even though the house is old and rickety. He got up, throwing his hands in the air, and went inside. As he slammed the door, the house fell down until just the door was standing.
Yeah.
The villager peered around the side of the door frame and glared. Ash, what are we doing here? Hallgrim asked. You wanted to come to this planet. I didn't ask any questions. But it's been 6 weeks since Kellen... Asher spun and set him in place with a look. Don't say her name. All right. I'm just asking if this is going to put us back on track to find the baby. What do you think I've been doing all this time? Messing around? Asher sneered. Hallgrim gestured down to the poster she held, a colourful birthday flyer for Count Dracula's birthday party that called for clowns as entertainment.
Oh, man.
You literally just said that joke flyer is what we've been looking for. You can't blame me for thinking you're not focusing here. There's no need to take this out on me, Ash. It's not my fault the baby was taken. No, it's mine, she said, hanging her head. I cannot say sorry for taking it out on you. I'm not good at that. I didn't mean it was you, Ash. I meant it was her. But, not taking it out on me and not being good at apologising, you and every other woman I've ever been with, mate, I have a type, and it's women who can beat me. Beat me. I put beat me in, which I don't know if that's a thing, but sure.
Beat me into your gang, mommy.
What?
What?
Hallgrim put a hand on her shoulder, unsure whether to hug her or not, but she immediately wrapped her arms around him. It's not your fault, Ash. It's your sister's. He remembered burying Shelley with tears for his lost daughter in his eyes. Those tears had been replaced by rage. You're right, she nodded. But you have to understand this is exactly how we're going to get our baby back. Hallgrim looked at her like she was one Truth Social post away from a MAGA hat.
Oh my god.
How's that? How's the thing we need to get back to our time in some... back to our time in some village where the IQ looks like it's just higher than a mouse's nutsack? She put her hands on his shoulders and looked him dead in the eye with an unsettling smile. Because I grew up here. Dracula pulled on his best cape, a crushed velvet number in deep maroon that would have made Prince splooge in his pants. For anyone born after 1997, imagine if you had a modern day pop star who played their own instruments, wrote their own songs without 70 other people working with them, and actually had talent. Also, if you were born after 1997, then fuck you, I guess. Youth is wasted on you.
Wow.
Game blouses.
So, what word from village people? He took one look at Samantha's raised eyebrow and shook his head. Not the band, Samantha.
I was waiting because I was going to make a joke.
Oh my god.
I mean people who live in village. Maybe I should just call them the breakfast buffet, eh? Eh? He elbowed Samantha. She pulled her jacket to straighten it. Yes, sire, excellent. Anyway, the villagers... She put heavy emphasis on the word and left a pause for him to acknowledge her, but he wasn't paying attention anymore, and she sighed. Sent word that two strangers wandered into town via some sort of temporal-infused Einstein-Rosen bridge. At Dracula's blank stare, Samantha said, "Time hole." Ooh. Yep. Is that like time warp? Add that song to my birthday playlist.
Oh my God.
I love this guy.
This is the same Dracula, ironically.
Dracula looked over at the banquet hall, which had been set up with balloons and tables full of all the foods a party of villains could want. The eyes of newborn children. The flesh from all those childhood and movie dogs you all cried over. Live baby chickens. Marmite. Do you know...
What?
Don't spread yeast extract on toast, it's disgusting. Dracula laughed as he picked up a small ham and pineapple mini pizza. Editor's note, I don't hate pineapple on pizza, this is just called humour.
Wow. I'm glad
You can write something and not believe it.
It's like we're continuing last time's Afterlords. So, she has returned. It seems so, sire. Why do you think so? Samantha asked as she followed Dracula through the room, watching as the party attendants made the last little adjustments. It surely would be terrible if she were to slaughter you horribly. Then I would have to look for an alternative line of work and most probably have more time for dating and following my chosen career path. Trust your dreams to be all about having a job, Renfield. What could you ever want for that you don't have here? Why be a slave to corporate machine? Dracula said before pointing to the bar. Now pour me a Bloody Mary.
Just be a slave to Dracula.
She walked to the bar and started mixing a drink, interrupting Dracula as he raised a hand. I know, real blood. She pulled a high-heeled leg stump from the bar, sandwiched between the other bottles, and squeezed it into a highball glass.
Ugh.
Do you want me to cancel the party, sir? What? Dracula yelled. Asher will do what Asher will do, but this is my birthday, and if I have to blow out one more candle today, I will. That is a very cool line and all, sir, but I assume the no fire in the house rule is still in effect. Samantha smirked. Unless you want to work for a pile of ash, yes. He watched her consider the prospect with a smile. Shut up and get to work, he shouted.
This dude's so vulnerable.
I look like a fucking arsehole, Holgrim said as he passed a puddle and looked down at his own reflection. The rain fell in sheets of water that soaked the pair of them to the bone. It was miserable. Asher turned to look at him in his rented bright red suit with multicoloured floofy sleeves. He looked like a dog's dick rolled in crepe paper.
Oh my god!
That's evocative language.
Why the fuck would I think that?
The smile wasn't easily stifled behind her hand. The clown suit isn't doing anything for you either. Holgrim narrowed the eyes. Funny. Why don't you juggle my balls, bozo?
Love.
Maybe later, sweetheart. She looked down at her own, slightly fancier Harlequin outfit. It had been slim pickings in the conveniently for story's sake costume shop in the traditional unassuming hamlet without running water.
This is all checking out.
Man, those fucking Halloween stores pop up everywhere.
It's one of those niche market towns that has all the fancy stuff, but none of the convenient stuff.
Well, no, the torturer, ye old torturer shoppy went out of business, and the Spirit Halloween moved
The Spirit Halloween went in, yeah.
And they were lucky to find 2 suitable outfits. She had picked the better one, not because it was for women, the 2 of them didn't care about that, they weren't backwards gender-obsessed morons, but because this suit had more compartments for her knives and death gadgets, and also because Hallgrim hated the other one, so she had to make him wear it.
Love.
We are close, get into character. Hallgrim stomped along after her up the mountain pass. I'm thinking something from Pagliacci, like a murderous rampage clown. Yes, I've heard of the opera Don't Faint. Asher let the comment lie for a second, then turned back to him with a deadpan expression. Porn parody? Hallgrim hung his head. Yeah.
A porn parody of Pagliacci.
Thunder cracked overhead, and the pair of them looked up at Castle Dracula, framed by the lightning flashes. Well, this is all fucking, very fucking cliche, Hallgrim muttered. Music filled the halls of Castle Dracula, the sound of Dancing Queen by ABBA. And
This is a fucking lit party.
And Dracula smiled at the DJ, but then marched to the stage. He held up a hand to the DJ and took a microphone from Renfield, and as the music volume was lowered, a hush fell over the partygoers, and the wind carried from the forest, and the smells and the sounds of the village floated up to the castle. More thunder cracked, and a wolf howled in the distance. The creatures of the night. What sweet music they make, Dracula announced to the crowd. Well, what do you want from me, Joan? I'm just not feeling it. Well, I don't know, Frank. Maybe if you could just keep it on for a bit longer, you'll grow into it. Joan, I can't grow into it. I can't even zip the thing up. It'll tear my balls off. Really, I'm surprised you even have balls. You wanted to spice things up, Frank. I just meant maybe let's try anal sometimes, maybe. I know you did. That's why I bought this at the conveniently for story's sake sex shop in our traditional unassuming hamlet without running water. A loud thwomp could be heard, as if something large and rubber was being slammed against a table. What the hell is that, Joan? You wanted to try anal? Well, bend over, Frankie boy. Samantha quickly shut the windows to the village.
The sounds of night.
Dracula cleared his throat. Yes, well, I am so glad you are all here for this unique event. Not too unique. You've had a few thousand of these things, someone yelled from the crowd. He laughed. Well, that makes it even more special that you are all here. Lagoon Man, please don't hang around the buffet table. You're making all sandwiches moist.
Ew.
Wolfman, you moron. Those are houseplants. You cannot defecate in them. The rest of you, drink, eat, celebrate how awesome I am, and also enjoy the entertainment. He pointed to the middle of the crowd where a clown stood. As people separated in a wide circle, a clown with fangs stood gnawing on a child's leg from the buffet table. He looked up at Dracula, viscera hanging from his mouth in surprise. He shrugged. Sorry, Pennywise. He looked around. There you are. He repointed, and the crowd split around 2 clowns, one really poorly dressed. Welcome home, Asher. Samantha took the microphone from Dracula and looked dead in Asher's eyes. Take it away, guests. Asher jumped as a disgustingly slimy patchwork mutant came charging at her, vaulting over its back and pushing the mutant into the crowd of rat men behind her. As it hit the crowd, it burst into its component parts and the rat men immediately fell on the corpse and started to devour it.
Yeah!
A batch of 4 vampires from the 90s, all dressed in leather and listening to techno music via their mini-disc players,
Queen of the Damned.
rushed Hallgrim. He quickly grabbed the buffet table and tipped it over, then held it towards the marching group, impaling all 4 instantly on the legs and turning them to dust. He turned to Asher. Did you just see that? Asher pulled knives from her pockets and flung them in all directions, impaling several players of the Universal Monster catalogue, except for Frankenstein, who had developed a promising career as a private investigator somewhere across the Atlantic.
I knew it was canon.
Turning them to... Go on, Josh.
I was gonna say, this is like our version of like Criminal Minds that like what's that other show that they like always are Baltimore? It's in Baltimore. I don't know. Whatever. Fucking go.
CSI?
Ah, yeah, sure.
Wire?
That one.
Turning
The Wire.
them to flame and ash with the silver knives. Pay attention, she hissed. Pennywise grabbed Hallgrim around the throat, lifting him off the ground. He brought Hallgrim's face to his fanged mouth. I'm going to break every bone in your body. The human body has 206 bones in it, you know. Weird. Your mum had 207 in hers last night.
Yes, sir. Ho-ho!
Hallgrim choked, and Pennywise looked at him slant-headed. I fucked your mum, moron, Hallgrim clarified. Do they call you Pennywise because that's the amount of brains you could afford to buy?
Holy shit.
As Pennywise angrily opened his mouth to take a chunk out of him, Hallgrim put his fist in the demon's mouth and then sent his fingers out on metal rods, turning the clown's face into a big top.
Nice.
Asher stared down Wolfman, cuts and scrapes tearing her rental costume that she definitely wasn't going to see the deposit return on now. They had traded blows, but she was out of silver knives, and the werewolf was far too strong for her. A tongue darted across his slavering jaw as he eyed Asher up. She looked around. The only thing was the corpse of the swampy, gilled creature she had just killed. The wolfman closed his eyes and howled to the ceiling. When he returned to Asher, she was brandishing the humerus of the Lagoon Man, waving it back and forth. Here, boy. Come on, boy. Wolfman got down on all fours, glassy-eyed, and then his tail began to twitch, almost involuntarily. His mouth opened, and he did little hops as he waited for her to throw the bone.
Adorable.
He's so cute.
She mock threw it over his head, and he turned but didn't move, confused by the physics of the disappearing bone.
God damn.
Asher came up behind him. Fucking idiot, she whispered before shoving the bone through the back of his head into what passed for a brain.
Jeez.
All right. I was on their side to begin with, but now this is too far.
He could have been their friend.
You could have just thrown the bone.
I was going to throw it out the window, and then I was like, I've got to kill him. Hallgrim and Asher.
That's funny.
Hallgrim and Asher moved towards each other, standing back to back. The monsters, half insectoid hybrids, reanimated science experiments, Osama bin Laden, and brain-dead zombies.
Man, Osama bin Laden gets an invite to Dracula's birthday party?
He's pretty bad. And
that's fucking crazy.
And brain-dead zombies. Oh, wait, no, those were just blue-tick Twitter subscribers. Advanced on them, licking their lips and smiling. All right, that's enough. Party's over, Samantha yelled. Aw, said one of the blue tickers, instantly pulling out his phone to tweet that letting a woman work made you gay.
Wow. I think I read that one earlier.
Thankfully, he would never amount to anything and would die in his basement-dwelling green check fabric chair of impotence medicine overdose and diabetes-related health concerns a year later.
Man, he's got too much blue chew.
He was not mourned.
No.
Hallgrim looked up to see Dracula standing there towering over them. He busted a leg of the chair and charged, pushing the vampire to the floor and holding it over his heart before stopping. Asher smiled and went to Samantha, then hugged her. You look fabulous, Sam. What is your secret? Oh, sorry, that was the wrong voice. You look fabulous, Sam. What is your secret? Being a vampire, Samantha had announced.
That'll do it.
It's really good for the wrinkles. He finally made you vampire. Oh, well done. Has he given you that company horse and cart he promised yet? Has he hell? He said we couldn't afford it because the villagers aren't pulling their weight. Really, it's him not pulling their weight because they're all thralls, aren't they? They only do what he tells them. Excuse me, Dracula said from the floor. Can you get your manservant here off of me before he turns me into barbecue leavings? Asher pulled Hallgrim up, whilst Sam helped the Count to his feet. What the fuck is going on here, Asher? Hallgrim looked confused. Asher smiled. Remember when I said I was raised by demons? Remember I have that vague Eastern European accent that is slightly mismatched and indefinable, not because of voice acting quality at all, but because of mixed upbringing and childhood trauma? She looked at the camera.
Definitely on purpose.
It's very Boris and Natasha. I don't know if I ever said that.
Yep.
She looked at the camera but looked at Dracula, pointed at Dracula, who gave a small, shy little wave. He is sort of like second father to me. Our baby's Pop is fucking Dracula, Hallgrim said, annoyed.
That's pretty sick.
Then thought about it and chilled. Actually, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
He put a hand out to Dracula, who looked at it in disdain. Be nice, Samantha whispered. But he is Machine Man. He doesn't even have blood, Dracula said in Romanian. Then you can see him as something other than a walking charcuterie board, Samantha nodded. You have done me a favour, thinning out herd of would-be challengers for my throne, Dracula admitted, taking Hallgrim's hand begrudgingly. Wait, did you say baby? The explanation of their tale stretched long into the night, with the Count and Sam listening intently. They were enraged at all the bad bits and suitably smiling when Hallgrim and Ash got together. At the end of the story and the meal they shared, Hallgrim helped Samantha take the plates to the kitchen while Asher talked with the Count. He seems to make you happy, Dracula smiled. I can kill him if you want. No, she laughed. I like being happy. He is a good man and treats me well, except for Valentine's. He is shit at that. Last year he got me bumper sticker that said, my other ride is your mother's ass.
That's fucking awesome.
I wasn't angry at joke, but we didn't even have a car, and we were in the middle of a fight against a gang of marauders. Luckily I hate Valentine's. Dracula put a hand to hers. What do you need from me, Asher? Anything I can do to help, anything in my power, so long as I don't really have to step outside castle, you know?
I relate to this guy so much.
Yeah, you could tell where I was this week with this story. Asher smiled. Do you think you have anything in catacombs that can open a portal back to my time? Nothing that can send you there, but we may be able to signal for someone to come get you, Dracula smiled, and take the heat off me for a few centuries. Samantha put her stack of plates and took the second from Hallgrim. As their hands touched, she looked at him. How long do you have left? Hallgrim smirked. I didn't ask. Made a deal to protect Ash and the baby. Crone said reduced lifespan. I just took it. Samantha stopped what she was doing and smiled at Hallgrim. Tell her, if she finds out after you're gone, she'll feel guilt. It's not fair to do that to her. Hallgrim mulled it over. Did Drac sense it too? Why do you think I made him shake your hand? When they were ready to go, Samantha brought a bracelet of pure obsidian threaded with a rich vein of silver from the catacombs, passed it to Asher and stepped back. She strapped it around her wrist. Just think very clearly about who you want to send the message to, and then project. Samantha hugged Asher. Don't stay away so long next time, okay? Asher nodded, then turned to the Count. I am okay if you want to stay away longer. I'm immortal, he said.
He's so good.
She kissed his too cold cheek. Thank you for everything. He threw a dismissive hand towards her. You got moxie, girl. He turned to Hallgrim. What you did was brave. Get my granddaughter back. He stepped back with Samantha and wrapped his cloak around both of them, teleporting them away. Worst birthday ever, he announced, before they vanished in a cloud of bats. Asher closed her eyes, thinking of the pillars. She had calculated the appropriate date, after the Wraith and the Word had been killed in the battle of necessary plot points.
That is such a good name for a battle.
Hallgrim held her hand, the two of them standing amongst the massacre they had created. She was clear, concise, the message as loud as she could project. We killed Dracula. Almost instantly, because I don't really want to stretch into 11 pages, as I've grown tired of this story.
Wow.
A rift...
Direct.
The real Dracula was rich.
Dracula of time. A rift opened in front of them. The wheel and the way stepping out, weapons drawn. The two of them looked around at the carnage, almost in awe. Wolfman. One word to avoid copyright entanglements. Lagoon creature. Vampires. Zombies. That shit Stephen King clown. Osama bin Laden. Did you guys do all this yourselves, the way asked?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got it.
We've been hunting monsters through time, Hallgrim said, nodding. The wheel held up a small scanner. They're not lying. They've been rifting. Temporal readings are all over the place. Managed to project a message across time too. The two pillars shared a look, thinking of their lost communicator and assassin. How would you two like to join the Pillars of Alima? Seems like it was meant to be. Asher smiled. The end.
It was meant to be, because you wrote it that way.
I did.
The story is just as good as the purposeful voice acting choices.
Dude, I wish I wish when my phone rang, it was the clip of Asher saying, "He is shit at Valentine's Day."
It's good. It's good. That was great. I loved that Dracula.
Yeah, he's like terrible dad.
It's very
Rubbish.
relatable Dracula for some of us.
Yep. Better than Boris, whoever that is.
Oh, Boris, come back, Boris.
Boris fucksuck.
Yeah, fucking get him.
I mean, that's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucksuck? Oh, yeah.
That's way better than Bloodsuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's why, yeah.
This story allowed me to tie up the loose end of why Asher had a vaguely Eastern European accent that I've never really...
I just sort of thought that's how she talked. I was just like, I'm not, like, racist about voices.
Well, I am, and I've really been wondering the whole series.
Well, wonder no more.
Jeff's been like, what even is Ash?
Yeah, this story lacks complete cohesiveness because we don't know where she got her accent.
I don't know every single detail about a character. This story sucks.
You know, interestingly, I am in Josh's camp in that it never even crossed my mind why she would have that accent.
Never even thought about it.
It is totally important to my fucked up brain to close every loop in this story, and that is proving very hard.
That's why we call you Looper.
Thanks.
Loop at Rich.
Normie at Jeff.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm glad you liked it.
Yes.
1 down, 2 to go. Will we go up in quality? Definitely. Come back for part 2. That was it.
Turn it off now.
Back, everyone. We hope you had a nice break and listened to some vids and music. We are heading over to Daranos, where presidents don't need to be missed by rifles to be relevant. So let's head there now.
Look, the tour is over.
Presidents. Yeah, we're canceling the...
That's
what
all right.
Is the show called? That tour?
The Bros Before Pros tour.
Send all your hate emails to normie@jeff.
No .com, no .org.
No,
just add Jeff.
that. Yeah, just add Jeff.
It'll get to me.
I named my story this week, and it's called "Send in the Clowns."
Yay!
Nice.
Sweeping up the trash after the cult party, sang a lone skelly man as he swept up solo cups and confetti. Another skelly man was taking down a handmade sign that said "Cunt Cult," and another one of those signs you get at the Dollar General that simply said "Cult Miss," that someone had obviously made out of an Xmas sign. Good thing we're free from all the brainwashing that cult had on our brains, the sweep skeleton man said to the other. Yeah, now we can focus on living our lives free of influence of anything that would lead us to make terrible decisions and send us down the path of darkness, said the other skeleton man as he then pulled out a magical ring, opened it up, and did a massive bump of catamine, a drug so powerful it was used by alchemists to subdue buff cats while they were at the vet. Yup, totally free, baby.
Don't go down a cat hole.
Okay, seahole. Gary, how? What? Ugla eloquently stuttered. It's good to see you again, my lady, Gary said as he kissed her hand. She nonchalantly wiped away the maggots and worms his lips left. Mew, mew, Buff Cat cried as he ran over, and Cat bear hugged Gary. He jiggled him around so much that his ribs began to xylophone. It's good to see you too, BC, Gary said, dusting orange cat fur off of his wetter, more fleshier remains.
Oh.
Sandals walked up and rubbed her face stank all over Gary's rotting left leg. He knelt down and patted her gently. I know you have a lot of questions, but I have to get to work soon, so follow me while I get ready, Gary said, leading Ugla, Sandals, and Buffcat to his cave room. Work, Ugla scoffed. Not to, state the obvious, but I didn't see a lot of Battlebees or TGI Fiduru Blasphemer of Virgins days around on the way here. My work here is much more important than serving up delicious, affordable meals and singing birthday songs to lonely middle-aged men, Gary said very specifically. I'm on a mission. A mission from Mew, Buffcat interrupted with a guess. No, not God, Buffcat. But the very past itself. Gary finished with a dramatic pause as he applied a thick layer of lipstick to his desiccated and rotting face flaps. Meanwhile, in the golden castle of Golden Evil... Let me go, you B-word ass C-word, Demi yelled as Axewound pulled her along by her hair. If you're gonna curse, at least do it like a true bad bitch, cunt ass, badass slut cunt, Axewound said down to Demi. Gunk grunted as he tried not to look at Demi. He tried not to see what Axewound was doing to this poor little girl whose only crime was being with Ugla, and that wretched cat, and that little goblin or deformed child, or maybe burn victim? What was his name? Squid? Squid Ludwig? Something?
Oh, no. We love you, Squid.
He's gonna love that.
As Gunk tried to drown out the sounds of preteen kidnapping, he soon began to hear a tinny musical sound. The golden arches of the halls around them echoed with the eerie, unfamiliar, and never-before-heard tune. Gunk could only strain to listen and try to hear more of this truly alien melody. Let go, you chapped slooter cooter who doesn't wipe from front to back, and now you also have crabs because you probably tried to fuck a lobster monster or something because your gaping wide open slut garage is too worn out to be satisfied by a regular sized peener, Demi shot back.
Wow.
Better.
Good. It's pretty good.
Better, Axewood said, almost impressed. Almost. Soon they entered a great gold hall. On a massive throne sat a golden Adonis of a golden god. Axewood threw Demi down onto the floor in front of him. Demi stood up defiantly and spat back at Axewood, hitting her right in the mouth. That is fucking unladylike as fuck, Missy, she said as she went to slap Demi. Who is this? The massive golden man boomed over them. My master, Judging from her overall lack of hygiene and predisposition hanging out with wizard trash, I'd say she's an escapee from the gold mines. The one that got away with that giant beefcake of a cat man months ago, Axwoon said. Not her, the gold man said. Him. With a slow, exaggerated point, the gold man pointed at Gunk. Gunk was struck with fear, and maybe a little pee-pee ran down his leg from his peener. This gold abomination was ancient. As a dwarf, he had heard stories of such beings living deep in the darkest parts of Earth. I've seen your kind... wait, that's the wrong voice. I haven't seen your kind since the day they let me out of my prison, the gold man said. Gunk looked over at Axwound as his eyes widened. She gave him the don't fuck this up look. Or maybe it was the don't fucking get us killed look. Or maybe she was trying to hold in a fart. They did have those street tacos before they came to the castle.
All the same look.
Gunk started, then he cleared his throat of any fear. My ancestors told of a great golden being so ancient and so powerful that the very earth itself had died and been reborn 1,000-fold, and yet he still lived, Gunk said, trying his best to remember all the dwarf stories they told around campfires and darkened tunnel sleepovers or whatever. Your people were once wise and powerful, the gold man said, looking at his own giant fingernails. They were indeed wise to tell you of my forthcoming, and you are indeed wise to have listened to those stories. The gold man stepped 1 foot off his enormous house-sized throne. As he took his first step, his body began to shrink to a more normalish size. Normie at Jeff.
That's still pretty big.
I wrote that in. No, I didn't. He still towered above both Gunk and Axwoon, for he would never allow anyone to be taller than him. Even if he had a kid who was really good at basketball and was taller than him, he'd probably make that kid smoke some cigs to stun his growth, and then sabotage his chances of making the team. And if it was prom king, oh no, that simply wouldn't do. He'd have to have double sex with the kid's mom that night just to make sure he was the last one in there, if you know what I mean. That's fucked up. Who wrote that?
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's what the fuck?
I think that's whoever wrote that needs some therapy.
Anyway, you have something for me, the gold man said, still staring down at Gunk. Just as Gunk was about to answer, Axwoon formed a magical portal and pulled out the cunt device from within. She hovered it over to her lord. Finally, I've been waiting 2 seasons for this, he said. Seasons as in like winter and summer, not like the seasons of a show. That would be weird to say, he said, laughing and patting Gunk on the shoulder. Gunk faked a laugh back. Although around here it's more like summer and summer, am I right? Thanks, global warming, the gold man said, still smiling down at Gunk.
Even in Daranos?
Although, again, I also caused that. You're welcome. Gunk let out a laugh that was somewhat real this time. Say thank you, the man said, gripping Gunk's shoulder harder. Thank you, Gunk said, now very confused and scared. Axwood also gave a faint thank you. You want I should teleport... this is Axwoon now. You want I should teleport this little scamp back to the gold mines, Axwoon axed. That makes sense. Axwoon axed. No need, said the gold man as he hovered the cunt device into the air. Once again, he enlarged himself to the size of a building and opened a cavity in his chest, absorbing the device he had so longed for. Put her in the dungeon and give those who would find her hope, the man said, with a wave of his giant hand. 2 golden automabots wheel-balled their way from 2 perfectly cut wheel-bot holes in the wall and scooted over to Demi. They picked her up and carried her to the dungeon, each holding one of her arms. She was carrying this, my lord, Axwoon said as she held out Demi's flame sword. Ah, yes. I haven't seen this in a long time, he said, holding it in the palm of his gargantuan hand. You, dwarf, he shouted. Consider this a gift in my thanks, he said as he tossed the sword toward the dwarf. It landed in the golden floor like a hot sword through gold butter. There it stuck, waving slightly back and forth as its point slid slowly into the golden floor. Gunk picked it up and heaved it over his shoulder. Meanwhile, up in the rafters, a rat with a gun was prone position, aiming his very real rat-sized gun at the gold man's head. He steadied his breath and he focused on the right side of the Golden Lich's VW bug-sized noggin. This was going to be an easy shot. I mean, this guy was huge, and he was gold for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
The only easier target would be if, like, somehow he was some giant orange man sitting down there.
Wearing a giant red hat.
Yeah, like a literal orange man. I know that sounds stupid. Like, who would be orange? That's insane. As the rat breathed in. As the rat breathed in and out one last time, he pulled the trigger, and just then the Golden Lich moved his head ever so slightly, and the tiny bullet flew past his ear, missing him. God damn it! The Lich yelled as he rubbed his ear. All around, Automabots swarmed and used their red searchlights to search the rafters. Will someone please call the exterminators and deal with these damn rats with guns? The Lich commanded.
Did the wheelie bots also stop to let the Lich get his shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
He did like a fist in the air too. Like I didn't.
This feels topical somehow. I'm not sure.
This is an evergreen joke. Each Automabot ran into each other as they tried to carry out his order. They clanged and zidded away in a hurry. Can you imagine if that hit me? The Lich said to Axewood. She rolled her eyes. I mean, nothing would have happened because I'm a golden Lich god who can't be killed with bullets and the embodiment of pure evil. But man, if I was like a regular guy, yeah, that's crazy. Axewood said, humoring him. Like my real human brains would have exploded at the back of my human flesh case, and man, boy, would my face have been red. He said with a laugh.
Or orange.
And that's how I made it to the future, Gary said, explaining it very clearly and simply for everyone to hear. I just pulled a Data or Bender and buried myself in this cave for like several thousand years. Then I waited until the right time to infiltrate the evil layer, and that's where we're headed now, to work, Gary said, applying white cakey makeup to his disgusting worm-ridden face holes. I don't know who Data or Bender is, but that's actually a pretty smart idea, Gary, Ugla said as she picked up the makeup brush.
It's really brave, too. Well done, Gary.
Now, Gary said, we sneak in disguised as jesters. Then we find this little demi and break out. Also, we find the cunt device. I was sent here to protect it, after all. Did Sid send you? Ugla asked with a hope in her voice. No, some old guy who loved talking about butts. He told me to meet his contact in the future, who is this other old guy who looked like him but had another fake beard and mustache. Must be his kid or something. I don't know. Reese's, Ugla said, gripping the makeup brush harder. 5 minutes? Wait, 5 minutes till we leave, Gary, sir, said a skeleton man that was a Dracula. Boris! Ugla said.
Yay!
As she ran over to hug him, her giant double D smothering his skeletal face as he tried to protest. No, ma'am. I am Joris. Boris was my cousin, Joris clarified. Oh, well, you look just like him, Ugla said. How is Boris anyway? Oh, quite dead, Joris said matter-of-factly. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's erased from all history. My family burned his birth certificate and his death certificate and his life after death certificate. They went up in flames just as quickly as he did, and just as quickly as there is any hope of his returning.
Wow. Joris Judsuck?
Joris Chudsuck. Even as a bone man, I have better connection to the dead, but I can't even contact his ghost. It goes straight to disembodied voicemail every time. He's deader than double disco on Jimmy Hoffa night at a Montreal Expos game.
Damn.
I mean, that's too bad, I guess, but you didn't have to go into that much detail, Ugla said. Let's roll, Gary said, strapping an old-timey football helmet to his head. Ugla and Buffcat hopped onto the back of two sweet, torqued-out bone hogs. Gary rode a third as Joris hopped in the sidecar like a little pickleback bitch. In seconds, they were roaring across the wasteland, kicking up dust and revving their engines louder than when Josh is trying to do a podcast.
There's a lot of crossover in this podcast, is all I'm saying.
It's all right, guys, Squib said, waving from the mouth of the cave. I'll just stay here and hold down the fort. Oh, a little lost skeletal child who is a burn victim of some sort, a comely skeletal woman said. Did you lose your mommy? No, but I think I found my new mommy, Squid said, like a gross weirdo as he looked at the camera and winked. 99 bottles of piss on the wall, 99 bottles of piss. Take one down, drink it all down, 98 bottles of piss on the wall, Demi sang as she tossed stones out of her cell. She was the only one in the dungeon. Next to her was a skeleton who she tried to talk to, thinking it was a skeleton, but nope, just a regular dead-ass skeleton. That's a fun song, Gunk said from the darkness. Yeah, you should try it. Drinking piss, that is, Demi fired back.
Nice.
Gunk lowered Demi's sword to the floor. Its metal sang as the tip gently tickled the dirt. Demi backed up instinctively. This is yours? Gunk asked. He held her sword up to the torchlight. It glinted with powerful magics in the firelight. He felt the hilt get warmer as it neared fire itself. Yeah, it is. Don't get your gross dwarf farts all over it or whatever, Demi said, scowling. The wizard...
Tip tickle in the dirt is... well done for not laughing at that, because I did a little chuckle. You're obviously more mature than I am.
I'm just like laser focused right now with this very serious story I'm reading.
Okay.
I just can't be like shook, you know? Where was I? The wizard gave this to you? Gunk asked. No, Demi said, offended. I killed an evil guy in the past, but it was still the future for some of us, I think. I don't actually remember, but I killed him and took it. I won it. Demi crossed her arms and gave Gunk a sassy look. Oh, I believe you, he said, laughing. You're a fiery one. Reminds me of someone I once knew, he said, saddened. Oh, yeah? You remind me of my mother's butt. Really big and just as stupid, Demi's... Wow. Demi was on fire now. Her chains rattled as she crossed her arms even harder at Gunk, like she was on MTV's Drop the Mic. You know, a long time ago, well, longer ago now than before, Gunk started out, humans and dwarves weren't such good friends. I guess humans thought we were weird, and I know we thought humans were definitely weird. I mean, living outside of a mountain? No thanks. And bathing regularly? Who are you bathing for, the queen of cleanliness? Get real. Gunk trailed off as Demi rolled her eyes and sat down again. I never thought I'd ever meet one, Gunk now said, sitting down on the cold floor. Then I did. Wow, great story. Tell it again, mister, please. Let me guess. Then you found $5, Demi said, scoffing. Gunk smiled. I wish, he said, laughing. No, my friend died. Gunk lowered his head and re-examined the sword's hilt. The dirt from Demi's gross little kid hands was still in the cracks of the leather. He rubbed at it. Yeah, well, Demi tried to think of her retort. I'm sorry that happened to you, I guess, was what she settled on. So, I heard you escaped this place once before, he said, changing the subject. I escaped the mines, Demi clarified. This place, I don't know what this is, but judging by the gaudy gold everywhere, I guess that's what we were mining. Either that or this guy traveled back to the 6980s and watched a ton of Robin Screech's Lifestyles of the Loaded and Lascivious. Well, Gunk said, standing up, just make sure if you get out of here, you don't forget to bring some light with you. It's getting pretty dark out there, Gunk said. With that, he leaned the sword up against the stone wall underneath the torch. Demi looked at him suspiciously. She squinted as if to try to see through this dwarf and to see through his ruse. She backed away and angled herself at him. All he did was wink and walk out of the dungeon. Up ahead, Gary shouted at his two friends. Wasteland pirate gangsters! His red foamy nose billowing in the wind as his clown wig furled every which way underneath his football helmet. Mew mew, Buffked said sarcastically. In the distance roared a sandstorm-sized cloud of revving boner cycles and bone cars. There was even some bone buggies. On the tops were emaciated beings who had spears and grapple spears and speared with grapple hooks on them. What's the difference, you ask? If you don't know, then I feel sorry for you. Learn your wasteland shit, noob. We're gonna hit him! Ugla said, readying her staff like a jouster readies their joust stick thing. What's it called? Lance! I got there. Buff Cat gritted his teeth. Ugla gripped her staff tightly and repositioned it. Gary honked his comedy nose one last time for luck. Within seconds, they were about to hit when, meanwhile, back at the castle...
Oh.
Okay, all clear, I think, Demi said. She reached into her pantaloons and pulled out a wineskin she had yoinked from Ugla. She bit the cork and spat it onto the floor and then tilted the wineskin toward the ground. Nothing came out. She took it. Come on, she demanded. You gotta hit the side, the skeleton from the other cell said, scaring the living piss out of Demi. I thought you were dead, she yelled. I was asleep. Can a skeleton get some sleep? Fuck, damn, sorry for trying to help. God damn. She said and then collapsed back to sleep. Demi hit the side of the wineskin until finally a thick, viscous ooze slithered slowly out. When it was all out, it formed itself back into a small cube. Jelly, wake up, Demi said. We're breaking out of this blowjob stand. To be continued.
What a lie.
Huh?
$5, please.
And then I found $5 for the blowjob stand.
Man, I am on the edge of my fucking seat about what's about to happen with this gold fucker.
Yeah.
Dude, something good, I don't think.
What?
I mean, I don't know.
Makes
I don't know
sense
what's
when you think about
I
it.
don't know.
You do know, though. You're writing
What?
it.
I mean, am I?
Sometimes he knows. Let's not give him too much credit.
Yeah. I'm just reciting the histories as they took place.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're...
Somebody who wouldn't be fired from a new podcast would. Is all I'm saying.
I think Reese's goes into his room at night and whispers things into his ears, and then maybe sometimes puts his dick in his ear as well. But and then Josh writes
In
a
his
story.
own ear?
No,
Oh,
in
me,
yours.
in my...
Well, you're
yeah,
the
yeah.
same guy.
No.
No. What? Why would you put that on me? That's fucked
And
up.
feces the disguise.
You're just being really rude right
I
now.
know.
You're being so mean to me. Normie at mean.
Wow. You sure showed me. I'll turn over my
remind me-
evil ways.
You remind me of my mother's butt. Big and stupid.
Do you know what? I'm
Damn.
glad they didn't hear the joke because it is so banal, and we have just milked the normie at Jeff to death.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
That's the show, Rich.
That
You're on
is
it.
the
You should
show,
know.
That's right. we are
48 of these
48.
fucking things. You think you get it by now.
Man, that means we're 2 months away from doing this for 2 years.
I don't want to talk about it.
Josh hates the passage of time.
Yeah, it's the enemy of all living things.
Okay, well, you got me there.
Except Dracula, who doesn't care.
Yeah.
Is the show still happening, Rich?
Sorry, yeah.
There's that. I didn't edit that in. That was the pause.
I was just thinking about it.
9 months pregnant. That
we
pause. Jesus.
were stopping so you could do the like commercial break.
Oh, okay, all right.
I
Well,
don't gotta fill time just because my story went quick.
no.
Doesn't matter.
Your story didn't go quick either. Did it?
It was long and ponderous, is what Rich is saying.
Yeah,
Went
ship
quicker
up.
than I did in your mom last night.
I mean, that didn't paint you in the best light.
Hey, she's hot. What can I
okay,
say?
right,
I'm
fair
not
enough.
ashamed of it.
Fair
Your mom
enough.
has a great vagina. That's just what
Your
we're
mom's
saying.
vagina just sucked the cum out of me.
It did create me, so it must be pretty good.
Damn!
Let's
I'm gonna
go
be the
to-
last one in there, if you know what I mean.
Right, we'll be back for part 3.
This shit ain't vital.
welcome back to part 3. As if life wasn't scary enough, let's head over to Spooky Vision.
Dun, dun, dun.
You know, sometimes I wish I was dead in Spooky Vision, you know?
Josh Cry for Help Henderson strikes again. The name of my story is The Twilight Between Waking and Sleep.
Damn. It's a good title. Mine was stupid.
Fuck! Screamed Pavlov Flinch, holding his hand over his mouth to stop himself from retching. The car he was bitch-seated in was skidding like Dom Toretto outside of Josh Henderson's bedroom window when he's recording a podcast.
I'm in the living room, Jeff.
Straight around the corner of an old dirt road onto an even shittier, older dirt road adjacent to it. Somebody shut him up now! Alyssa Madero screamed from the driver's seat, her white-knuckle grip on the steering wheel being the only thing keeping everyone inside the car alive. With pleasure, Kayla S. Hunter muttered, taking her handkerchief out of her pocket and using it as a barrier between her skin and his, as she always did anytime she was forced to interact with him, to press his hand harder into his mouth and muffle his pathetic screaming.
Burn that handkerchief.
You're taking this surprisingly well, Dev, Jason said to Dev from over the seat between them before catching sight of the sickly pallor over his little friend's features. Oh, shit, dude, are you gonna... It isn't a matter of if. It's a matter of when, Dev said gravely. Let's hurry the fuck up, Jason screamed. Shut up, everybody. Shut the fuck up. This isn't 50cc on Mario Kart, goddammit. Alyssa screamed back in return, yanking the steering wheel onto yet another dark, empty back road to follow the dimly glowing glint of red taillights in the distance they had been unable to catch up to for seemingly endless miles now.
The Chaco Mountains.
But after an hour or more of chasing, the distance between them started to shrink rapidly. Just past the tree line ahead of them, the RV they had been chasing screeched to a halt, its taillights instantly dimming and the darkness and distance making it hard to tell what was going on ahead of them any longer. Wait, they stopped! Jason yelled out, pointing out to the front window. Alyssa jolted on the brakes, causing everyone in the car to violently lurch forward against their seatbelts, the wind getting knocked out of 4 sets of lungs at once. Flinch, on the other hand, was sent flying directly into the front seat into a disgusting human ball, like a shaved Sonic the Hedgehog wedged in the driver's cab.
This is worse than anything I've ever heard.
He let out a loud yelping scream and then unfurled as best he could, his legs draped over the shoulders of Alyssa and Dev. Get off of me, you piss-stained garden gnome! Alyssa growled out, shoving Flinch back towards the back seat. Dev leaned heavily and silently against the door and window on his side, his face basically melting off his features in pure nausea and disgust. I got him, you drive, Jason called out, reaching up and grasping onto the back of Flinch's jacket and yanking him back into the back seat, like a grown adult pulling a toddler back from running at an amusement park.
What must that be like?
Flinch hit the seat and smiled his weak, half-busted smile. Oh, strong boy. What is your deal, man? Jason screamed out in frustration. It's nice that it isn't just happening to me for once, Kayla said offhand. Alyssa shut the lights off and slowly lurched the vehicle forward into the darkness. She squinted to try and catch sight of anything in front of her, but the underlights of the car could only illuminate a few feet in front of them as she went. But it wouldn't be too long before they broke the tree line as well, and were instantly hit with the beautiful sweeping vista, completely lit in blues and deep purples by the full moon which hung low in the sky above them.
Uh-oh.
Sweeping fields and trees dotted the landscape in every direction before them, but dominating the landscape was a gigantic, old-style Gothic manor, complete with high steeples and towering buttresses along its side.
Buttresses.
Oh God, it's Dracula's castle, Dev spoke in a hushed, reverent tone under his breath. I didn't even bring a camera. How am I going to prove to the guys online that I met Dracula IRL? Draculas don't show up on film, dingus, Alyssa said absently, her eyes scanning the dark
Everybody
shadow.
knew this but me?
Yep.
her eyes scanning the dark shadow in front of the mansion for any sign of the RV as they approached. Isn't that just because film used to contain silver? Like the whole not showing up in a mirror thing?
Yeah.
Kayla retorted, rubbing her chin as she did. I would have brought a digital camera. I'm not an amateur at this, Dev scoffed. An amateur at taking photographs of Dracula? Alyssa asked. I've taken a few photos of goths in my day, Flick said to pretty much no one. I'm getting out of the fucking car, Jason announced, unsnaking the seatbelt from around his midsection and then throwing the door open.
Jason saying what we're all thinking.
Yeah.
Alyssa slowed the car to a stop as Jason hopped out into the night and began to creep toward the front of the massive manor house. He kept low to the ground and squinted into the darkness to make out the shapes within the inky blackness. The others followed suit, one by one, though one of them had to be pushed out into the darkness to get him to follow, each of them pressing on, with only the vague outline of their compatriot directly in front of them to guide them in the night.
There's like those fucking Halloween corncob mazes.
Mm-hmm. It's just like that.
It's scary as fuck.
I don't understand, TK said softly, her voice a million miles away from her, lost in a deafening hum of halogen light bulbs and static electricity. You have been alone a very long time. The cold, calculating voice returned to her, the electrically cracking monotone of the flickering, faceless being that had called itself Nil. I will rectify that. Your mind, what it is capable of, will serve the Gestalt. The perfect being. We will become a part of it, together. What? TK struggled to maintain a grip on herself. Her own grip like a sieve, the sand of her very being falling through her fingers into the nothingness of the endless whiteness. I want to be me. Come now, Teresa. When has that ever been true? The voice coolly retorted, filling up the space where herself used to be. You were raised by foster parents who feared you, surrounded by people who instinctively pushed you away, who knew the horror you could unleash instinctively, even though they had no true concept of it. Even Alyssa. No! She and I, we're gonna... TK felt it slipping. She couldn't see anything any longer. Couldn't taste the iron oxide sizzling in the air around her any longer. Whoa, this place is mondo freaky, dudes and robo-dudes! A voice broke the monotony instantly, shattering the whiteness around them into fragmented walls with black depths between them once more. TK was standing in the middle of the room, whole again, facing down the flickering glitch ghost before her, but they weren't alone. Floating beside her with his incorporeal hand placed on her shoulder was pretty obviously Dips. I mean, you fucking heard what he said. Who could it even possibly be otherwise? That cool-ass cartoon dog Poochie from Itchy and Scratchy? He's not even in these stories, dum-dum. Keep up.
Yeah, he had to go to his home planet.
What is the meaning of this? Nil said in a sparking, glitching tone that almost seemed emotional for a moment. Dips! TK cried out, feeling a sense of relief in herself she had never experienced before in her life. The one and only Dipsonator, baby! I'm here to totally pull a Luke and Obi-Wan on you, partner. Let's get out of this wild hallucination, okay? Dips smiled a bright, wide smile, sliding his sunglasses down his nose as he pointed at her with his finger guns. Pointless, Nil spoke in a reverberating tone which seemed to come from everywhere at once. He held out a jittering, flashing arm towards Dips, and instantaneously the ghost began to glitch and jitter in the same manner, sending him into violent convulsions. Dips tried to scream, but he couldn't. The sudden shock of feeling pain for the first time in almost 30 years overwhelmed him to the point of bleariness. He shook and shuddered and mouthed screams, but no sound came from anything he could accomplish in his writhing agony. What? No, Dibs! TK screamed out, taking a step forward but stopping instantly, having no clue what to do to help. A feeling of panic, of helplessness, of fear overwhelmed her, causing her to completely freeze up, and tears welled in her eyes. The sound of the humming halogen bulbs began to grow louder once again. But TK gripped her fingers together into fists tightly at her sides, and the tears at the edge of her eyes began to vaporize in the suddenly growing heat. Boom, bitch! The gigantic oaken double doors of the Arclay mansion exploded open as Jason's boot caught just the perfect angle in the middle of them to splinter the wood and send them dangling off their ancient brass hinges from the force of his kick.
Badass.
The light inside the mansion was dim but modern and sudden, so it still caused the entire crew to recoil away for a moment as their eyes adjusted. "So neato!" Dev cried out in response. "Well, they definitely know we're here," Kayla muttered, shaking her head. Alyssa just looked at Jason with judgmental eyes. "What?" Jason finally broke the silence. Then a moment later, "What?" Alyssa walked past him, shaking her head as well. Without a word, she dipped her hand into the black waistband of her jeans and returned with a 9mm pistol, which she quickly primed for firing and aimed around the room.
Fuck!
"Holy cow, she's got a piece!" Dev cried out in shock. "God damn," Caitlin said, with a little too much of a tone of being impressed in her voice. "What exactly do you do for a goddamn living, Alyssa?" Jason asked incredulously. "I'm a florist," Alyssa said without cracking even the slightest smile.
That's great.
"Okay, I actually like this one," Kayla said with a devilish grin across her lips. "Me too," Flitch said creepily. Everyone else in the room groaned in disgust at once. But this actually turned out to be pretty damn fortuitous for our heroes, since one of the people in the room at that time who this disgusting wretch of a mole man made groan was actually Miller, the Gestalt chrysalid from back in Whitesville, who was standing at the top of the stairs at the other end of the foyer. "You!" Jason screamed out, teeth gritted tightly. Yes, me. What is that, your fucking catchphrase, Bart Simpson? What's next? I didn't do it. Eat my shorts, Gestalt, please." Miller said with vitriol
make these
in her
shirts
voice.
right now.
"The threat this season seems a lot less serious than last season did," Kayla remarked to no one in particular. "Who the hell is this now? I don't even know this one," Miller gestured with both hands at Kayla. Kayla opened her mouth to speak, and Miller did the zip it hand gesture at her instantly. "I don't care. I will never care." Well, that's just generally bad manners," Dev muttered. Alyssa pointed her gun up at Miller and squeezed off 2 shots pretty instantly. The first shot went through her shoulder, causing her to stumble back, and the second pierced directly through her forehead, causing her entire body to lurch backwards from the force. "God damn!" Kayla yelled out. "Wow, my heart is definitely in arrhythmia now," Flinch yelled out too. "It's unrelated, though." But Miller's body lurched forward suddenly and exploded from the middle outward, splitting in half like a cocoon, falling away as her full chrysalid form emerged from inside of it into the air. It unfurled its massive wings, which filled up the gigantic foyer from one wall to the other. She floated in the middle of the room and cackled a loud, high-pitched, buzzing cackle, which caused everyone to recoil at once. "Oh God, I think it stopped beating," Flinch yelled. "Kill them Burmans," Miller screeched out, pointing down into the foyer with a long, clawed finger. Emerging from the dark on either side of the room underneath the stairs were Bud and Luann Berman, their eyes faded white and pupilless, their teeth seemingly sharpened into fangs. They sprung toward the gathered group near the door, screeching an inhuman and violent scream. "Don't hurt them! They're undermined!" Dev managed to get out before Alyssa turned her pistol towards Bud and blew a hole directly into the middle of his skull, causing him to lurch backwards and then fall limply into the hardwood beneath her feet.
Oh well.
At that same moment, Kayla unsheathed her cane sword and swung it into a wide arc, the blade sluicing almost imperceptibly through Luann's neck. She posed with her arm outstretched, and her blade glinting in the low lights for a moment, before Luann's head slid from her shoulders, bounced on the floor once, and then her body crashed to the floor heavily. Control.
Free RV.
control, Dev finished with slumped shoulders. 2 less boomers, Jason said with a shrug.
Yeah.
Everyone nodded in silent agreement, even Dev.
Yes.
Enough! Miller spread her arms out, her eyes flashing a brighter, lit-up red which burned with hatred and virulence. The room began to spin, coalesce, and then fall in on itself. Each of her assembled foes losing their balance and falling into the yawning void she had created below them. All was suddenly black for a moment. When the light had returned to their eyes, Jason, Dev, Alyssa, Kayla, and Flinch were all standing in the middle of a gigantic dirt ring. They squinted their eyes into the bright, blinding lights above them, through the darkness at the edge of their vision, and saw row after row of bleacher seating. Large tent poles raised up into the void above them, more rings of dirt edged by red and white banding reaching out into the nothingness beyond them. A deep red tint at the farthest edge of their periphery.
It's Dracula's circus!
Is this a fucking circus? Jason asked incredulously. Doesn't Miller trap you in one of your worst nightmares usually? Dev asked with the same bewilderment in his voice. I used to love the circus when I was a kid, before I found out how they crucify the elephants if they don't paint good.
That's true.
Until you found out what? Kayla yelled.
He's right.
Just then, from the darkness around them, gigantic red eyes began to slowly sift into reality, bobbing back and forth in a long, steady motion. The group all stood ready for a horror to leap at them from beyond their sight, each one of them as ready as they could be to meet their greatest fear. But what shuffled out of the... Oh, nice. But what shoveled out of the darkness was just a fairly tall clown dressed like a stereotypical 1920s train riding hobo, complete with bindle and stick. He grinned wickedly from cheek to cheek and reached a gloved hand up to honk at his big red nose as he stared them down. From the other side of the room, a much more stereotypical bozo-style clown in a big yellow and red polka dot fat suit slid from the shadows, juggling big red balls in the air as he never broke eye contact with everyone in the room at once somehow? Clowns. Who's afraid of clowns? They're jolly and funny and always bring the most illegal drugs and fireworks you could ever want into town. Flinch broke the silence, but then quickly added, or so I hear. Unless you've got money on you. Seriously, what the fuck is going on? Jason asked. Well, I think Miller's power is somewhat limited. Remember what Alyssa said about how she and TK had the same nightmare under her power last, but it wasn't anything she'd ever personally been afraid of? Dev explained, dweebously. Yeah, it was like a corporate hellscape kind of nightmare. I never worked that kind of job, but TK did once, and she hated it more than I personally hate this guy now. Alyssa shoved her thumb at Flinch. That's fair, Flinch returned. I hypothesized that she can only prey on one fear at a time and has to tailor her illusions based on the fear of only one person, no matter how many people she had trapped inside. That's why Jason saw his brother during our shared hallucination. Dev said, shoving his glasses up his nose like a Revenge of the Nerds character minus the blatant sexual assault. So whose fear is this? Who's afraid of a fucking circus clown? Jason asked, looking around at each of his compatriots. Not me, Kayla said in a practiced monotone, her eyes wandering around in the darkness above them idly.
It's her.
That's a real kiddie thing to be afraid of. A real bitch-made kind of shit, you know? Couldn't be me.
Yep.
Everyone in the group took turns looking at each other, except for Flinch, who was staring off into the middle distance with eyes completely unfocused, not a single thought in his brain. It's okay to be afraid of things, Miss Hunter, Dev said brightly, but hey, these guys don't seem very dangerous, so there's that. Everyone turned to look at the clowns in that moment, who drew their hands back up out of the darkness to reveal hundreds of bloody, dripping blades. Chainsaws, axes, pikes, and jagged straight razors exploding out of the ends of their arms, their heads elongating upward to reveal row after row of serrated, bloody teeth, which began to whir around in a circle like there was a motorized garbage disposal, but human-sized. Ah! Every single one of them began to scream at once. But just as quickly as reality had changed before at Miller's behest, they were all shunted violently back to reality once more, slamming into the hardwood floor of the foyer at the Arclay mansion. "Fuck!" Jason screamed as he hit. They all turned their eyes back up to the top of the steps, and each one of them felt a sudden pulse-pounding shock at what they were greeted with. Miller twitched. Well, one half of her did. The other slowly fell to the floor with a loud, wet schlorp.
Cricket Man!
Flopping in its own purple juices for a moment before finally sitting still. The other half followed suit more slowly, doing no flopping once it hit the floor this time. Standing where she had stood was a man in a black overcoat. Tattered and busted to fuck, it still fit him perfectly and accented his wavy black hair along the way. He turned his dark, deeply underlined eyes down to the assembled group, withdrawing his right arm from the air, which slowly seemed to shrink down and regrow a layer of human meat and flesh over top of the chitin, returning it to its normal shape and size. He unrolled the sleeve of his coat down over it and shoved the newly formed hand back into his pocket. "Rio!" Kayla screamed out, her eyes wide and her jaw dropped. "What the fuck?" "Oh yeah, I did know who that guy is. Huh." Flinch said to no one yet again because no one ever wanted to acknowledge he was there.
Why is he here?
Why
is he here?
You know this murdering scumbag? Jason gritted his teeth in frustration. "I thought I fucking killed you, Tachibana. Dropping heavy fucking machinery on you isn't enough?" "I don't have time for either of you," Rio said flatly. "One of you left me for dead, and the other one actually tried to dead me. You can hold hands and fuck yourself together for all I care.
Damn.
I'm here to destroy Gestalt, once and for all." "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" Dev cried out, running to get in between Rio and the others with his arms outstretched. "This guy just saved our lives, and he's done it before for all of us. Let's take a second to cool down and actually discuss what's going on here." "We don't have time for that," Alyssa yelled out, picking her pistol up off the floor and making certain it still had ammunition in the clip. TK is somewhere in here, and God knows what they're turning her into or doing to her. I don't give a shit about any of your stupid vendettas. I want my girlfriend back, and I'm gonna get her back.
Yeah.
"I'll help you," Rio said flatly once more, then nodded to her with silent assurance of his words. Yeah, that's what we're here for. We'll find your girl and shut this secret society shit down. Then we'll have a long conversation about what happened in Whitesville last year, Rio," Kayla said with a deep frown on her face. As far as she knew, Rio had abandoned them in their 11th hour and left them to face a horror show alone. She knew nothing of what had happened to him since. "Man, fuck it. We're gonna find TK, and I'm gonna get my fucking revenge finally. That's what this is all about. That's why I'm here." Jason glared
I love revenge.
Jason glared at Rio, who said nothing to him in return. "Well, I'm personally going to go ahead and head out," Flinch said, turning with a wave over his shoulder and walking back towards the door. "What, you're leaving?" Dev said with shock in his voice. Everyone stood in silence and watched as Flinch walked out the door in complete silence, save for the sound of the Nintendo DS startup ding and the telltale opening music from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga dissipating into the night outside. "And nothing of value was lost," Kayla said flatly.
Just gonna, literally walk him out of the story.
Boosh! Everyone turned to the strange sound effect behind them, in time to see a translucent blue figure be fired straight through the wall without harming it and land in the center of the foyer in the fetal position with a near inaudible thud. "Dips!" Dev cried out, running towards them all at once, along with Jason and Alyssa. Kayla stood transfixed at the ghost boy, the literal first ghost she had ever seen in her entire life, that everyone else seemed to already know about. Boom! The double doors at the top of the stairs exploded open, sending wood and brass shrapnel flying in every direction. All of the living members of the story dropped to the ground instantly around Dips's coiled up body, avoiding the brunt of the detritus that was flying around like bullets in the air. Slowly floating across the threshold, 3 feet in the air, with her short black hair coiling around her face and her eyes completely blotted out with inky darkness, was TK Kanzaki, the focus of their little rescue mission, surrounded by wavering, blistering energy. TK! Alyssa cried out, stumbling up to her feet to try to run to be with her. But just as quickly as she had lurched up, Jason grasped onto her wrist to stop her in her tracks. Wait! She was possessed, remember? Jason growled out, hauling himself up to his feet alongside her. She could blow us apart with a thought. You can't just run up and expect hugs and kisses to fix this.
Yes, I can.
How the hell do you dispossess a psychic? I'm not well versed in fucking ghosts being real like the rest of you, Kayla spat out vitriolically. Vitriolically. I don't know. This is way outside my field of expertise. I'm more of a frogmen and Braxton County monsters kind of guy, Dev cried out. No one knows what that fucking means, Jason screamed in return. Wait, dudes! Dip shot up in the middle of the crowd, throwing his hands up in the air as he floated above them. She's totally simpatico, bros. That's her in her noggin, not the freako monster guy anymore. Everyone turned from Dips back to TK and watched as she slowly floated down the steps and both of her chunky boots touched down on the antique carpet at the bottom of them. She dropped her arms to her sides, the blackness draining out of her eyes and her body slumping forward slightly. TK! Alyssa yelled out once more. TK raised her head slowly and blinked an absent blink at the group assembled before her. A moment passed, but a small, weak smile crept across her features. Hey guys, long time no see. Yes! Jason cried out as he, Alyssa, Dev, and Dips all crowded around TK and grabbed onto her shoulders and arms all at once, smiling brightly and laughing as they all embraced together. TK, I thought I'd lost you, Alyssa whispered into her ear. TK just smiled and got up on her tippy toes to press her forehead to Alyssa's. That couldn't happen in a million years, TK whispered back. Yo, this group hug is boss, dudes, Dips yelled out. Alright, I hate to break up this hand jobs across America shit you guys are on.
Holy shit.
But we're still inside a fucked up evil mansion. Can we get the hell out of here yet? Kayla said impatiently. No, TK said plainly. There's something, in charge of all this. Every time I've been mind-fucked by anything recently, even myself, I end up in this white room with this glitching digital ghost. I thought it was an illusion. Maybe Miller was doing it or something. But I know it isn't now. She turned to look up the stairs into the room she'd been standing in. It was a long white hallway with railings across each wall that seemed to stretch so far into the distance as to be impossible. The door at its other end was barely a dot in their vision. I can feel it. The thing that caused all of this. The white room. It's beyond that door, TK said with narrowed eyes and balled fists at her side. TK, this thing took over your mind and made you come here. You can't be serious, Alyssa said with shock in her wavering voice. Well, I'm with her, and I'm dead fucking serious. This thing is the reason Archie's dead, and I'm gonna fucking kill it myself. I ain't leaving until Gestalt is fucking gone for good, Jason growled out, hefting his silver-tipped fireman's axe up and laying its blunt haft against his shoulder. I guess I'm in the business of stopping apocalypses now, so I'm not leaving either, Kayla said with a shrug of her shoulders. What about you? Alyssa said with a glance over to Dev. Are you kidding? Guys like me dream about getting into scenarios like this. All I gotta do now is prove aliens are real and get a match that isn't catfishing me on Tinder and I'm set for life, Dev said with a wide grin. Alyssa smirked ruefully and shook her head. I'm not letting you all get killed. I'll stay too. And besides, we took my car. Well, all right, dudes and dudettes, we're gonna be real American heroes, bros, just like Hulk Hogan, my dudes. Dips cried out happily, throwing his hands in the air in celebration. Anyone want to tell him what Hulk Hogan's known for nowadays? Or Kayla whispered to the group.
He didn't see the Spank Bang video.
To be continued.
On Spank
That was
Bang.
great. That was so good.
That was really
Thank you.
good.
That's the new Spooky Squad rules.
I love them. I love them all.
I like.
God.
I was gonna say I like how you just wrote fucking Flinch. Just he's like, I'm out. He's gonna come back though. You can't get rid of him.
Because like the moment when you said why is he here, when I was writing it, I was like, why is he here?
Because we're the same fucking guy, dude.
I was like, it would be really funny if I just had him leave.
So good.
I can't wait until Rio and Jason are friends. Or at least people who don't hate each other. Well,
guess we'll
Rio
see.
doesn't hate Jason.
He finds him incredibly annoying.
Well, I mean,
point,
sometimes he is, right? He's
Rio's
always
a redheaded
shouting.
racist.
Yeah, all redheads are like Jason.
Yeah, Rio's redheaded racist. So there's that.
Jason,
Nothing lasts like is better in the public conscience than a white guy accusing a minority of being racist.
What could go wrong, guys? I'm canceling the tour.
The tour's over. Sorry.
We're canceling the tour. The only note I have is when Miller flies up into the air, she doesn't say it's Miller time.
Oh
which
my God,
I
you're
would.
right. You're right.
We could have gotten some brand sponsorship going, and then
Yeah, we could have got some-
crossover.
we could have got some brand sponsorship for about 2 seconds before they sued
Yep.
us.
before Paramount sends us an email
Yeah.
and says, "Hey, fuck off."
I also like had this moment where I was like, I myself writing it was said what Kayla said. Like, man, the threat this time is not as serious as last time.
Yeah, doesn't have to be though. The people are what matter. Characters are what matter,
Yeah,
and your
absolutely
characters
true.
are amazing.
The
thank you.
stakes are if the stakes are
Well
important to
done.
them, it doesn't matter.
Medium
Right?
rare.
Like
Nobody knows
such a
what
dick.
nobody knows what Gestalt's plan is at this point. They're all just kind of bumble fucking into it. Like
Yeah.
maybe Rio knows, but that's it.
I ain't trusting nobody named Gestalt.
But their stakes
German.
are. I'm gonna just zip past that one quickly. But their stakes are like to stay alive.
Yeah, that's their yeah.
That's
They just have to
that's a really
survive.
important stake, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good
Yeah.
one to follow.
It's one that some people have, I guess. I don't know.
Perhaps we should look further into that problem that Josh just brought up.
Let's get back to the German racism. You can't trust them.
You cannot trust a redhead. I mean a German.
A redheaded German? Oh my god.
Wow.
Did somebody say Fourth Reich?
Wow. They're skipping that one. They're going
hopefully
straight
not.
to the fifth one.
They already printed the shirts. They're skipping.
It was a typo, and they're just going for it.
I guess I can't even do a German accent. Guess we should go
Rich?
for it.
No, I'm not doing it again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
With that, we're going to close the cover
Here.
on today's show. Right, I already did the prompts in advance because I was having trouble with the document. So, all C prompt ball, you can sit in the cupboard and have the week off.
Yay!
It's alive?
Yeah, it's alive.
Jesus.
So the first one... Oh,
I
go on.
didn't tell you because we'd have to cancel the tour and
But I had, it might be AI, so alive is kind of like...
yeah,
Yeah, let's wait.
What's the prompt?
The first one is Roller Skates by perennial choice maker Thomas Martin. And then the second one is Beer by McCain. Not the company that make oven chips. That
you
might
say
be-
beer?
that might be
Can you
a very
spell it,
UK
please?
joke. Beer.
How am I going to
see
fit
you.
roller skates into this shit?
And be, I
Yeah.
see you played Knifey Spoony before.
Right. So, if you heard those prompts and you thought they're
What the
surely going
fuck?
to be shoehorned in next week, guys, and you thought about putting some more in, like, I don't know, ones that are related to the story, then you could head over to patreon.com/storylords, and for as little as $5 a month, you can join the Discord, suggest prompts, and get access to the stories in text form. For $10 a month, you get all of the above, plus access to our sidecasts. We do one called Afterlords, which just is like the wind down session after the episode, where we just talk about shit that is annoying us.
It's like the shame you feel after the cum.
Yeah. It's the
Post-nut clarity, the podcast.
Yeah. That's what we should have called
that
it.
is what we should have called it. And you also get Redesigned by Committee, where we take an existing IP and bastardize it, or sometimes make it better.
Make it way better, you mean? Like the Urkelverse?
Do we rich bastardize it?
Yeah, oh, very good. For $25, you will get creator credit in the book when it ultimately comes out. And what else do you get? A PDF version of the book. If you want to know anything about the podcast, you can head over to storylords.card.co or storylords.page. Do we have any reviews this week?
Nah.
Ah! Boo! Where are your reviews, people? So, I was going to be really abusive, and I just decided
I know that you edited yourself just there.
Where are reviews?
Fuckers.
People.
I just thought maybe that wasn't the best way to get new reviews. Squires.
Or a good way to get new reviews.
If you haven't done a review, please head over to wherever you listen to the podcast. Go to iTunes and leave us a review.
I still haven't been able to see the reviews on Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. And I have like a Spotify subscription.
Yeah, I do too.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Have you tried leaving one to see if you can actually do any text?
I mean, I could do that right now. Look,
Alright.
Story Alerts pops right back up. Boom, boom, boom. I see a number.
What do we got?
94 ratings. It's a 4.9.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to rate it. Yes,
I think
head
you
over
can
to Spotify.
I think you just rate the give it a number.
Yeah.
You have to
that's
maybe
what I'm
do it
worried
on your
about.
phone. It says go to mobile.
Oh, for God's
All right.
sake.
Well, this is entertaining to me, probably not to the
This
listeners.
is really exciting.
So,
Really exciting.
go and leave a review, please. As always, I will read the patrons, but I haven't obviously got that up yet. So, what I'm going to do is...
I'm going to read the
it's just
page.
numbers. You can only do numbers of stars.
No, that is
Boo. We'll go do that, so that still helps.
boo-uns.
There's some podcasts on here that are more like this.
What are we like?
Let's talk about snacks.
Oh, right, I got the patrons up now.
All or Nuffle, a Blood Bowl podcast.
That was going to be the name we were going to go with before Story Lord.
It was all
Orb?
on nipple.
Yeah.
This podcast is called Orb.
It's just a podcast about orbs.
Thank you to Henry Roselar, King of Patrons, Anthony Stoker, Federico Rodriguez, Eve Robinson, Jonathan Anderson, Pez King, Sarah Kemp, Sean Tabor, Squid, Ludwig, and Stephen. Oh, and Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
Steve and Steven.
Pretend friends. What is this? Soy Trek.
That's
Like Soy Boy Trek.
That's too
interesting.
in. There's gotta be like some kind of like SEO, right? Like
Look, if I was gonna do a podcast about Star Trek, I would call it something that only the dweebiest Star
Yeah.
Trek fans that ever lived would know is related to
Treks
Star
and Effect.
Trek. Of course.
That's what I would name it.
I'm going to give my shout out of the week to Generally Depressing, who has been
I feel it.
has been a fan and supporter of the show since November 2022. Thank you.
I'm going to give my shout out of the week to Malinite,
That's a
The Lawsmith.
the loresmith who's putting together our wiki.
I'm gonna give my shout out of the week to Squid Ludwig. You're gonna get better, burn victim boy. Hang in there.
Hopefully he does not get burnt badly before this episode
Oh my
comes
god,
out.
that would be really
That would
bad.
be terrible. Why would you say that?
I said hopefully he won't.
It sounds
I
like you're
only
planning
heard
to burn him.
hopefully and burnt badly. That's the
Hopefully
only two
burn
words
badly.
I heard.
That's 3
Thought we were gonna
words.
have to cancel the tour again.
If you heard the music for this episode and you thought, my god, what genius, why would you think anything else? You should head over to vidazen.card with 2rs.co and you can find everything you want to know about Greg. I think his phone number's on there. I think what he wants for Valentine's Day is on there. I think where he's hid the bodies are on there.
What?
This is a bad idea for a website, Greg. I don't know why you're doing that.
Why did you name your band's website whereihidthebodies.com? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, and
Gotta
that's
name it something reasonable.
where
normal.
I didn't
Normie at
hide
Jeff?
the Normie at Jeff. Bodies at Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, but big shout out to Vidazen. Greg, you're amazing. Fourth Lord. And yeah, do we want to pimp anything before we sign off?
Nah, just my hose.
You can still commission me. You can find my work at jeffpennington.art. All the art and pictures and stuff I make, and which I need to update pretty badly. But you could shoot me an email at contact@jeffpennington.art and hit me up for some commission work, or if you need artwork for an album or Twitch stuff done, or if you have work for me. I need money.
Money, please.
And if you want us, if there's anything you want as additional tier items or anything like that, or if you're serious about merchandise, you know, let us know. Let us know on the Discord. Start a poll. Do whatever.
We can't read your brains. You gotta tell us.
You gotta tell us.
Yeah, tell us stuff.
If you just want a Storylords branded T-shirt, then fine. We could probably do that quite easily. But you're gonna need to let us know because we should probably do more stuff like that. And we live in a constant state of inertia, and we're not going to do it unless we're forced to do it. So let us know. Am I wrong?
Entropy is real. I will agree with that.
It's very
Object at rest tends to stay at rest. is all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
exactly.
Isaac Newton sure was right about stuff.
Thank you all for listening. As always, thanks for the prompts. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.